Welcome back, friends. This is Jason, Actualization, and in this video today, I'm literally going to be telling you guys the story of how the admin of an online health support group received over 200 complaints regarding commentary that I was making that apparently angered the various group members, resulting in me completely getting kicked out of the tribe, completely banned, ostracized. You're done, son. And, you know, it's all fun and games now. Like, I can laugh and kind of joke about it and have this lighthearted, playful sort of energy and vibe. But to be perfectly honest with you guys, deep down, it's actually quite bothersome. It's really bothersome to consider just all of the trials and tribulations that I've endured to carry the torch that I want to go full circle around the track to share with people who could benefit from the message and all of the struggles, all of the nonsense that I've been through. It's truly a dagger to the heart, and it saddens me that I get to the finish line and then I completely trip and stumble. So I've got my desktop pulled up, guys, and I'm just going to be sharing with you guys certain screenshots and some of the takeaways that I've hopefully learned from, because the biggest thing that I've gathered is that I need to get better at crafting a message, at curating it in a way that is able to be received, because people are missing the forest for the trees. And honestly, it really saddens me because this message is revolutionary, life-changing, game-changing, and for all of the men, women, and children out there who are suffering from EoE, from eosinophilic esophagitis, a disease that literally brought me to my knees throughout my late teens and early 20s. I'm gonna pull up a picture right now. This is an esophagogastroduodenoscopy, right? Whatever that is, an EGD. It's an upper endoscopy. And what I'm gonna do actually is zoom in a little bit so you can see in the upper two quadrants pictures from this imaging study of my esophagus. You can just see the narrowing here of the luminal space. That's just a fancy word for the space where food is supposed to travel. You can see all of these eosinophils that literally brought me to my knees, leaving me unable to speak and barely able to breathe for up to hour-long food impaction episodes. So I go on this journey, this hero's journey. I encounter a mentor who gives me an unfair advantage, this Australian savant, smartest man I've ever met, and he helps me get to the other side. He gives me a map to find my freedom. He tells me about seed oils, which he figured out 24 years ago when he was 12 years old. He tells me that these are overclocking your immune system, that are incredibly toxic. Corn, canola, cottonseed, soybean, sunflower, safflower, rice bran, and grapeseed. These oils that were made to lubricate machinery and not mankind. He literally just puts out his hand and I just grab it. I'm just like, dude, help me, man. I need help. I am in a bad way. The medications aren't working. The Prilosec, you know, I was taking 20 milligrams twice per day. I was taking a swallowed corticosteroid, Flovent, 220 micrograms, 2 puffs by mouth. And it was to no avail. It didn't matter how religiously I took the medications, how regimented I was. I did the thing. I did as I was told. I followed the instructions. But throughout my late teens and early 20s, this disease became increasingly severe. And here's a picture going back to when I was 15. This is just showing the archaic nature of the testing modalities back then. This seems kind of funny to joke about now, right? Like, they don't actually do skin patch testing like this anymore. I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. But what this is really illustrative of is the fact that we do the best we can with the resources that we have. So at this point in time in 2009, the prevailing narrative was to to actually test for allergies in this way, for food allergies. So my mom literally prepared a food sample. So behind each of these patches that I'm pointing to with my cursor were food samples that my mom had prepared, and I had to wear this for 3 days without taking a shower. You can imagine what the boys had to say about that in the locker room. This was December of 2009, and I was diagnosed in July, and then I was referred to an allergist and did some subsequent follow-up testing, and just trying to figure out what sort of modified diet I would need to follow. And this was the modality that we had at the time. Couldn't shower for 3 full days. My allergist never mentioned seed oils. Never mentioned the fact that saturated fat is divinely healthy and something worthy of our celebration. He never told me about the toxic nature of processed packaged foods that come in bags, boxes, cans, and containers. So I was forced to fend for myself, to fight for myself. And then a mentor came along, and what I liken this to is my favorite movie of all time is The Count of Monte Cristo. So you've got Edmond Dantes, he's framed, he's sent to the Shadow Deep to spend the rest of his days in this hell-like prison. The prison for me was of my own making, my own autistic, highly inflamed OCD mind that was self-inflicted by the society and the food supply chain that I lived in. I didn't know that it was a choice, that I could set myself free. And then comes along the priest in the Count of Monte Cristo, and he gives Edmond Dantes the map to the lost treasure of Spada, enabling Edmond to become the Count of Monte Cristo. But he had to follow the map. He had to go on the arduous adventure oasis and endure the adversity to actually encounter and accumulate the treasure of the lost of Spada, the lost treasure of Spada. He couldn't just take the map and have the treasure spawn, appear like that. He actually had to take on the onus for himself. And that's what I did. I had my allergist, Scott, write me an excuse, a doctor's note to excuse me from the meal plan. And this is what I'm so passionate about, is I'm literally gonna drive to my college campus and I wanna give footage of the exact dorm room that I literally lived, breathed, and ate out of. Because at one point it occurred to me that I can't rely on Grandma Hassan. That's just the name of the lunch lady. That was a very nice lady by all objective measures. Very nice lady. Love Grandma Hassan. But there she is, just part of the process, and dare I say problem. A kitchen on campus that is using industrial seed oils, as are the plethora of nursing homes that I used to consult at as a pharmacist. And these oils are toxic, guys. They're incredibly oxidative. They bioaccumulate. They've got a 480-day half-life in body fat. There's nothing vaguely appropriate about these oils. And that's why I'm here to illuminate their location so that you can sidestep them and not have to deal with the consequences of their combustion. And that was my hope, was to deliver this beautiful message to these people in this Facebook group. It's a big group, by the way. I'm gonna pull up on my desktop right now in an incognito window. You'll see why in a second. Eosinophilic esophagitis, EoE support USA. 19.8 thousand members. And it was in March when I was engaging with this group, and I believe in that time they've already gained like 2,000 or 3,000 people, which is amazing, man. I love this. I wish like I had resources. I wish more than anything I could go back in time and have a conversation with my 15-year-old self. And tell him he's gonna make it, man. Tell him that everything's gonna work out, man. You're a beautiful person. You've got these OCD tendencies right now. You're working through some stuff. Your brain isn't quite right. You've got a broken biology. You've got to fix your physiology. You know, like the shampoo bottles in your shower, in your family shower, like all the labels have to be pointed a certain way. You know, you get a little bit uptight when things don't go your way, when things aren't predictable, but you're gonna be okay. You're gonna be okay, man. And take my hand, because I'm gonna take you past the smoke and wreckage. I'm gonna take you to the promised land. I'm gonna help you find your freedom, because I've already blazed the trail, and look what you get to become. You get to become Jason Actualization. You get to see what life is like on the other side of finding your freedom, cultivating a character that can just breathe, relax, be at ease with himself, fall asleep within minutes, turn off the monkey mind, and enjoy the monk mind. So I joined this group in March. There's 19.8 thousand people. I'm elated to share my success story, to talk about how I landed the plane, because all of these people are like these air traffic controllers trying to navigate from afar. But for me, I was in the pilot. I was the pilot. I was in the cockpit. I was the one who had to land the plane. Like, it's either I crash the plane or I land the plane. I've only got so much fuel, and I gotta make this count. I've got to shoot my shot and hit the bullseye. And I had an unfair advantage. I had an Australian savant on my side. I'm not nearly as smart as he is. But maybe people can appreciate a little charisma, some authenticity, some enthusiasm, and have some sort of insight, wisdom, a glimmer of hope that if I was able to find my way out, maybe they can too. This is an incognito window because if I am logged into my Facebook account, this is what comes up. This content is not available right now. You're done, son. You're kicked out of the tribe. When this happens, it's usually because the owner only shared it with a small group of people, changed who can see it, or it's been deleted. So yeah, I got kicked out of the tribe, and let's talk a little bit about that. So my first post to the group was that EoE is not caused by a Dupixent deficiency, as you see here. The true solution to this disease is addition via subtraction. When you subtract a negative, it's the same net result as adding a positive. And when you add a pharmaceutical for which you're not deficient, you are introducing uncertainty, entropy into the system. The issue was never a lack of the drug. It was these seed oils that overclock your immune system. And that's not the only thing. Of course, there are certain environmental allergies, but these seed oils prime your immune system to be triggered, to be set off. And virtually nobody knows that. Mary Knight, among them. Ridiculous comment. Who do you think you are? Let's move along here. Amanda says, help my brain out. I've read this label a million times and I can't find the milk ingredients. Does it actually have anything that is milk/dairy? And on the surface, it doesn't. If you look at the individual ingredients, like there's nothing indicative of that. No whey, casein, milk listed. At the end, it does say contains egg, milk, soy, and wheat ingredients. So presumably it contains milk on some level, and that's thought to be one of the more common allergens for people with this disease. I drink a gallon of milk every week without any problems, but I also don't eat any processed foods, of which this is arguably the epitome of such, which then renders it no surprise that I responded by saying no, but I wouldn't touch this stuff with a 10-foot pole. It has canola oil, which is toxic to humans, as are all seed oils, which are extracted in factories that resemble oil refineries. A diet devoid of seed oils is step one to healing human health. And she said, thanks for your opinion. We'll make our own opinions about what goes into our bodies, which is great. At the end of the day, each individual is the ultimate arbiter for their own life. You're the only one who can execute decisions for yourself. And I'm just here to show you the way that I went. Because it's pretty rare to find someone who literally has no symptoms now. Someone who literally said, screw it. I'm throwing my hat over the fence, baby, and I'm gonna go all the way. I'm gonna leave no stone unturned. I'm gonna have my allergist, Scott Dyer, write me a note to excuse me from my meal plan so I can live in a dorm room probably the size of this tiny recording studio. Right? And I've got a coworker, and I've got a, not a coworker, I've got a roommate, Nick. So I'm literally sharing a room the size of this recording studio. And that's what I'm literally living, breathing, and eating out of. So here was another interaction. This one was about red meat, because a lot of people think that meat is incredibly implicated in EoE. And I'll be the first to say that I've had meat impact my esophagus like probably 100 times. That's the main culprit, was one of the main culprits for me. But it's not meat that's causing the inflammation. You have to peel back more layers of the onion. The meat is revealing the problem. It's revealing the inflammation. The problem was already there. You don't want to just put a Band-Aid over it. You don't want to just avoid the indicator light. It's like you've got this indicator light that's blinking, flashing right in your face, and you're like, let's just put a piece of duct tape over it because I just don't want to look at it. I just don't want to look at it, man. It's like, no, there's another problem there. You got to dig deeper. I told this lady, Kaylee, that doctors are trained to have a negative bias towards meat. I'm just going to paraphrase this. You guys can read it for yourself. But basically, there is a fundamental misunderstanding of cholesterol that has fundamentally given rise to the demonization, the vilification of red meat, and the vindication and celebration of seed oils. All the while, saturated fat has just been the scapegoat for the doings of seed oils, which are incredibly toxic, and saturated fat is divinely healthy. Kaylee says, I'm a nurse. I don't need your opinion. His doctor has been very helpful for him. Thanks for handing out meds. That is such a low blow. Thanks for handing out meds when doctors prescribe them. Luckily, I'm not a very emotional fella. It seems like these folks get a little bit triggered. I am an INTJ, which is like, 2 steps removed from being a robot. So I'm just very hyper logical and rational, and yikes. I don't know. I hate to see these folks, get a little bit feisty, a little bit emotional, and ad hominem, if I'm being honest. It's unattractive. It's unattractive and immature. So here was a post about seed oils and not letting them poison drip you, because that's what they do. They bioaccumulate, and they're in myriad processed packaged foods. You'd be hard pressed to find something that they don't lurk in. And then there's Mary Knight again with her, rainbow colored mask. I'm just saying, it's, where are we? What universe is this where seed oils are defended by rainbow mask wearing? Oh my God. I don't know. It's a strange world, guys. She says this is straight up pseudoscience. OP comes on here pushing this all the time, probably because he wants you to watch his videos, which I never even linked to, never even mentioned my channel name. I'm just doing this because it genuinely makes me feel good. I wish someone would have told me about this decades ago. I wish I never would have been brought up on processed packaged foods. I don't have a YouTube channel. I just don't want you to be taken in by this snake oil salesman. So it's just these ad hominem attacks, which leave something to be desired. If people don't have a point, they attack you. Luckily, Tim comes in and speaks some common sense. What arrogance that you think you need to get on here and silence someone who is providing information. We're going to do our due diligence. We're all adults here. capable of our own discernment. What snake oil is OP selling exactly? Got nothing to sell you guys. Suzanne Gerda, this is an unfounded claim and you're preying off people by perpetuating it. Untreated EoE is a serious disease. It is serious and pains me to see people still suffering from it. And that's why I'm willing to risk receiving uncalled for remarks such as yours in an effort to heal humanity. I love life, I love people, and I believe we all deserve to be happy and healthy. I really do. So this is a conversation that I had on Facebook Messenger with the admin of this group. And I am making this complete health journey, how I overcame EoE, a health journey video. And when I started to realize how emotional, irrational, and easily triggered the members of this group were, to my dismay, I figured I would reach out to the admin a priori and just get a sense of what would be valuable do's and don'ts to include in the video. So I said, I haven't even started making it. It's a passion project. Could you offer any insight before I pour my heart and soul into it, just in terms of do's and don'ts? And then I was like, any idea how this happened? Like how I got kicked out of the tribe, right? She's like, yes, I'm sorry, you were reported over 200 times today. My phone has been blowing up with members angry about your posts, and I can't have that. And I said, could you please review the nature of their complaints and investigate when you get a chance? I was attacked a number of times, but I know people mean well and are just doing their best, so I'm not here to play victim. So the banning from this group was really demoralizing because this is something that I'm so passionate about helping people overcome EoE, eosinophilic esophagitis, chronic disease, realizing that the roots of such reside in the toxic food supply chain, the industrial oils that bioaccumulate, the added sugars, the processed packaged foods that come in bags, boxes, cans, and containers. There's nothing vaguely appropriate about these Franken foods that are severely stifling people's quality of life. You know, the aforementioned autistic OCD experience, that was my first person phenomenological experience of life. I mean, my mom bought 5-6 books about how to raise a child with Asperger's syndrome. So that's just a high functioning form of autism, you know, with deeply rooted concerns for how things would pan out for her son, you know, as any loving mother would. And I'm happy to say that I've really checked all of the boxes that I think maybe deep down she was concerned that I never would. And to be honest with you guys, once I got off of processed packaged foods and was militant and discerning about what I put into my own body, a whole other world opened up to me. Like my brain started working in ways that, quite frankly, you wouldn't believe even if I tried to articulate. And in me trying to describe is, quite frankly, grossly underwhelming. So please take this idea seriously that you can overcome chronic disease. And if you don't have a disease right now with any obvious signs or symptoms, I hope you take the idea seriously that maybe if you did optimize your diet, refine it, that even if you aren't experiencing anything that may be weighing you down in any obvious form or fashion, that if you did dial in your diet, that different cognitive faculties could open up. Just how your mind and body operate could really make this human experience much more enjoyable, guys. Thanks for checking out today's video. I do appreciate that, guys. Comment down below. What do you think about these interactions? What can I do better? I know that I need to better package this content, this message, to make it more receivable, because these people need me, man. They need you. They need all of us. They need members of this movement, of this renaissance, of taking human health back. Because the greatest heist of all time is the heist of human health, a robbery, all-out war that has been waged on your endocrine system, your energy levels, needing caffeine because you're underslept. So you're overcaffeinated because you're underslept. You're overfed because you're undernourished. We have to get back to our primal ways. That's the only way we're going to find our freedom, guys. So comment down below, like and subscribe for more content like this, friends. And as always, until next time, find your freedom. Take care, guys. Peace.